Hello, thanks for tuning in. I'm attorney Brad Mann. I'm the lead attorney and managing member of the Micklin Law Group, which concentrates in empowering men and fathers in divorce, custody, and family law matters, with offices in Nutley, Montclair, and Saddlebrook, New Jersey. I'm also the proud author of How to Survive and Thrive When Divorcing a Narcissist. You can find the book on Amazon.com in a Kindle version and a hardback copy by searching my name or the title. I hope it helps you or anybody facing these issues. Today's video is called Drinking, Drugs, and Divorce. If you're considering divorce or in the middle of one, and either you or your spouse has a substance abuse issue, you need to watch this video. I'm going to talk about the effects that drinking and drug use can have on your divorce proceedings. Many people don't realize it, but drinking and drug use can actually impact their divorce case significantly. If you're considering a divorce or in the middle of one, make sure to watch this video entirely. At the onset, it's important for me to note I'm not a doctor, a therapist, or a drug counselor. I'm not offering help or suggestions on how to combat these issues. I'm only discussing the impact it can have on a divorce case, custody issue, and many other legal issues that may arise in a divorce or family law matter. If you feel that you or your spouse suffer from these issues, please seek a qualified professional for help. Now, let's first take a look on how the alcohol and drug use can affect a divorce proceeding. Alcohol and drug use can impact the outcome of a case in a number of ways, including impacting your decision-making ability, causing you or your family financial problems, and leading to child custody and other legal disputes. It's no secret that drug and alcohol use can lead to a number of marital problems, but did you know that in New Jersey it can actually be a grounds to seek a divorce? In New Jersey, drug addiction and institutionalism are one of the reasons that you can file for a divorce. New Jersey continues to be what's called a default state, which means you have to have one of a limited number of reasons that are recognized in New Jersey before you can file for a divorce. I included a video below that discusses the other reasons you can file for divorce if you don't want to rely on the other spouse's drug use. Next, let's take a look at how drinking and drug use can impact child custody arrangements. Alcohol and drug use can have a devastating effect on children, as I'm sure you can imagine. If you're struggling with alcoholism or drug use, please pay attention because it could impact your ability to have custody of your children or even to be able to spend parenting time together. In my opinion, the level of impact drug use can have on custody matters depends on the severity of the use and how much the other party is aware of the issues. Now, please don't take this like I'm suggesting you conceal these issues, because left unchecked, it can spiral out of control and do much more harm than having addressed it head on. The first limitation courts impose when they're concerned for drug and alcohol use is to limit parenting time, which can include limiting overnights, holidays, or even extended parenting time such as weeks during the summer. Additionally, many judges will require certain testing or evaluations before allowing any parenting time. These restrictions will largely depend on the level of use as well as the judge's opinion of the harm, but in some cases can lead to an elimination of all parenting time until a counselor or therapist declare the level of use and risk of harm to the children is minimal or non-existent. This can be devastating because it can last a long period of time. You could have many hurdles to overcome, and all the while, your children are growing up, going through a difficult divorce, and not spending any time with you. Now, in some cases, the mere allegation can interfere and prevent parenting time for a substantial amount of time. Judges will usually err on the side of caution when there's even an allegation of drug use, regardless of whether it's been substantiated or not. Unfortunately, in many cases, this is a weapon that's improperly used by lodging false or exaggerated claims as a way to gain advantage and limit parenting time. The sad truth is it's usually effective. I had one client who had a battle for years to overcome allegations of drug use, despite the fact that there wasn't a single drug test that ever suggested he had any abuse issue. Next, let's take a look at what you should do if you're the one struggling with drug or alcohol abuse. If you believe that drug or alcohol abuse may be an issue in your case, you may want to be proactive. You could consider getting an independent evaluation, speaking with therapists, gathering witnesses, and being prepared to defend yourself against any claims that are bogus or exaggerated. However, you also need to be careful that raising this issue could impact your relationship not only with your spouse and children, but could impact things like your occupation or professional licensing if the information got out. Additionally, and more importantly, whether you use drugs, previously used drugs, or in some kind of treatment, you should be mindful that the stress encountered in a divorce and custody battle can exacerbate the level of use or cause even a relapse if you've been abstaining. If you're struggling with alcoholism or drug abuse, there are a number of things you can do and get help with. First and foremost, it's important to seek professional help. There are many programs and support groups available that can help you with overcoming your addiction issues. In addition, there are countless resources available online. You can find information about local programs through the internet, through local hospitals, or even through your personal physician. I think it's best for you to have an understanding about your issues and how you can address them before a judge is forced to do so. You should consider communicating with your spouse to discuss these issues if you feel that he or she will be supportive. This will help you determine the proper course for your children and allow you to successfully attempt to co-parent. However, I'd be remiss if I didn't point out to you that you must be careful when approaching these issues. It may not always be in your best interest or the best course of action from a legal standpoint. You'll be walking a fine line between wanting to protect your children from your issues and wanting to spend as much time as possible with them. Now, if you happen to be concerned about false or exaggerated allegations, as I mentioned before, you may want to take proactive and similar steps to those I mentioned a moment ago if you have an issue that you want to address head on. First, as I said before, you may seek your own evaluation. You should speak with a therapist, gather witnesses, and be prepared to defend yourself against these and any other possible claims. The main thing to keep in mind is all judges, and hopefully your spouse, want to do everything they can to help you and protect your children at the same time. It does not need to be an adversarial, secretive process, but it can be one in which everybody works together for everybody's best interest. Now, to conclude, let's just talk a little bit about what to do if your spouse is the one with the issues and you need to determine how or whether to raise it at all. As I mentioned, substance abuse can be used as a reason for filing a divorce, and you need to balance whether or not that's in your best interest to put into your initial filing. First, it'll likely increase the level of hostility in litigation than if you had chosen a more benign ground such as irreconcilable differences or 18-month separation. Additionally, you should consider whether or not it'll impact your spouse's employment, which increase or create alimony obligations to him or her. Drug addiction is a mental and physical disability, and such issues can be used to determine and reduce alimony and child support in certain cases. Additionally, it can impact your relationship and the level of trust, which will impact the difficulty you two experience in co-parenting through your divorce and afterwards. Conversely, you also need to consider the effects of not raising it initially. First, raising it later can seem retaliatory, since the belief will be you would have raised it initially if it were true and significant to you. These considerations are significant and differ case by case. You should speak with an attorney as well as a qualified professional before deciding on any course of action with regard to these issues. Take a look at the link below for other videos about drug testing in a divorce or custody case. So in conclusion, while there are certainly other reasons for a divorce, alcohol and drug abuse can be a major contributing factor. If you or your spouse is struggling with an addiction issue, it's important to get help before things spiral out of control and affect you, your case, and your children. Alcohol and drug abuse can, as I said, have a devastating effect on your children, so it's imperative that parents get the help they need to overcome these addiction issues and take care of their children. If you know someone affected by alcoholism or drug abuse, share your stories in the comments below and share this video so that we may help as many people as possible. Please know the content in this video is not legal advice, but is intended to be informational. As always, we advise viewers to seek the appropriate legal or tax advice necessary when making decisions that could impact their lives and their families. The information in this video is accurate as of the date of publishing, but laws are constantly changing, and it's important to stay up to date on the latest regulations and changes. Thanks for tuning in and stay safe. Here's my contact information if you have any questions or would like to schedule a meeting.